Okay, hello boys and girls in another episode of Little Modular. Today I'm proud to present you this interesting, really helpful module called Mother's Little Helper, made by Erogenous tones. And it's called Mother's Little Helper for a reason, because it helps its mother, which happens to be this beautiful Mother 32 Moog semi-modular synthesizer that you probably all know. What this does, it allows you to choose pattern and bank combinations on the fly, and you can do it manually with these attenuators right here. You could gate it with external gate, you could choose it with the manual gate right here. It also allows you to choose one of the 16th assignable functions to the assign output right here. So instead of going into this menu, which is kind of painful, you can do that via a knob right here, which is really easy, or via a CV, and you can gate it, choose it right here with the aid of this button or a gate. You choose the view of the LCD with this little button right here. This is very important. If you want to see which assignable function you're going to assign to this output, you do it with this knob right here. Now, whenever you patch a CV signal, like for example LF4 right here, where you can see it changes right now. So this becomes attenuator for choosing of this function. I have the assignable output assigned to VCA CV right here. So let's hear what it does. I have some random pattern right here. Okay, and now it doesn't do anything because I haven't triggered it, but now when I trigger it, it triggers this function. Okay, and again triggers this function. Of course, now it's choosing the function via the CV, but I can do it manually and trigger it. Okay, different function, or via CV. And I can of course trigger that with the trigger input. Now the same principle, the exact same principle goes for choosing of the bank and pattern. Now beware, because you send those two together, they're always sent together, bank and pattern, and you do it on the same principle here with the manual gate or with the gate input, external signal, and then you have separate CVs to choose the bank and the pattern. So it's really cool. That's how it sounds like. We need to change the view of the LCD so it shows us the bank and the pattern. We can choose the bank manually, for example bank number 2 and pattern number 2 also, and then when you press it, it's going to trigger that combination. How cool is that? Okay, again. And now we can automate this process. So let's plug in an LFO here, for example. And this is our attenuator now. When I trigger it, bang. Okay. Now we can automate this process even further. Okay. So it triggers this combination whenever it gets a trigger. Very neat and fun. You can only imagine what's going to happen if you fill all those banks and with patterns. So we have 64 patterns effectively switching with both CVs and gate. It's just crazy, bonkers, really absolutely brilliant idea. On top of that, you also have this sustain output. So it controls the sustain on the sequencer. So whenever I press it, this is how it sounds like. Okay, it just switches on or off the sustain. Very neat function. What's even cooler, there's one more thing you need to remember, because sometimes you don't want all of this machinery to send any signals to the Mother 32, because sometimes it can get really complex with all those CVable patterns and banks, and you don't want to stick out all the cables and stuff. For that, you have this function right here. Whenever you press and hold this button for 2 seconds. You see those 2 lines appear here? It means that mother's little helper has a lunch break. Doesn't do anything. It's inactive, it's frozen. Now it won't send any signals out, which is really clever idea. If you want to go back to the module being active again, just press that thing and it works again flawlessly and easy. Now the last thing we have here is the classical sample and hold circuit. So you have input signal right here, so you stick, let's say, a noise or an LFO in here, then you stick here the signal that actually samples that signal, and here we have out of this whole circuit, so you can use it as a source that you can stick to any part of your system. For example, I stick it into the 1 volt per octave just for fun, and let's see what happens. As you might expect, some crazy madness happened. So as you can see, this module is very flexible and very useful. I mean, if you have Mother 32, for me it's a no-brainer. It seems like a little thing, but in fact it expands its possibilities vastly. It's really well built. I would strongly suggest that you give it a spin, and I bet you won't be so eager to give it back. Thank you very much for watching, and from this point I would like also to thank Polish distributor of Moog instruments, Audiostacja company, which have allowed me to play with this beautiful instrument for some time, and which I really like. So it's possible that it will just stay with me. Bye bye. Happy weekend in New Year. More synths, more modules, more everything to you. Ciao.